All right, welcome to another deep dive. You know how this works. We're taking a big old source today. It's this book, How to Talk to Anyone, and we're extracting the pure gold. Like, think of it as a cheat sheet for you, the learner, to really grasp the core concepts. And today's mission, well, it's all about giving you practical tools to not just survive social situations, but to actually own them. We're talking genuine confidence, building those connections that really stick. We're going deep beyond just surface level chit-chat.
Yeah, you're not just looking for a quick fix. You want that deep understanding, right? So you can apply these principles in any situation.
So let's start at the very beginning, first impressions. The book kicks off with something called the flooding smile. And you might be thinking, well, I know how to smile. But this is different. It's all about the timing.
Exactly. Think about it. A smile that's just instant, right off the bat, can feel a bit programmed, maybe even a little fake. The flooding smile they talk about here, there's a tiny deliberate delay. You make eye contact, you really see the person, and then that smile, a warm, genuine one, it spreads across your face, especially reaching your eyes. That little pause, it makes all the difference. It's like saying, hey, this smile is for you.
It's like they earned it, in a way. The author talks about her friend Melissa, who took over the family business. When she sort of stepped into that role, her whole demeanor changed. And the author noticed this slight delay in her smile. It made her seem so much more authentic, more credible.
And it's not just anecdotal. The author observed this with public figures, leaders, people who just exude trustworthiness. There's often that little pause before the warmth of the smile kicks in. It makes it so much more powerful.
So you're saying it's not just about smiling, it's about how you smile. Okay, moving up a bit. Literally, the book dives into eye contact with sticky eyes. Now, we're not talking about staring someone down, but
it's more like, imagine your eyes are connected with a warm, slightly sticky substance. You hold that eye contact, even for a beat or two after they finish speaking. And when you do break away, it's slow, almost hesitant.
There's this story about Sammy, a salesman. He starts using this sticky eyes thing, real sticky with clients, a little less so in casual settings. And he notices this shift. People treat him differently, with more respect, and even his sales numbers go up.
Well, from a psychological perspective, that sustained eye contact, it's powerful stuff. It shows you're really paying attention, you're confident. And remember, we talked about oxytocin. It can even trigger that, creating a sense of trust and connection. It's that feeling of truly being seen and heard.
Right, like you're really there with them. Now, if sticky eyes is like, say, tape, then epoxy eyes is super glue. The book talks about how people in authority positions might use this and, anyone trying to create a really intense connection.
It's definitely a level up, a much more focused gaze. It can be really powerful, maybe even a bit too intense in some situations. It all depends on the context.
So use it wisely. Okay, shifting gears a bit, and this one might surprise you, posture. Technique number 3 is called hang by your teeth. Don't worry, it's not literal. It's a visualization thing.
Yeah, it's clever. Imagine, just before you walk into any social situation, there's a leather bit hanging above you. And as you enter, you mentally throw your head back and bite down on it.
It might sound silly, but the book explains that this image helps you lift your chin, pull your shoulders back. You're instantly in a more confident, open stance, almost like an acrobat about to perform.
The author calls posture a success barometer, and it's true. How you carry yourself speaks volumes before you even say a word. Confident posture, confident reception.
So shoulders back, chin up. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the big baby pivot. This is about how our bodies signal that we're open, approachable. Think about a shy kid all hunched over. Now compare that to a happy kid running towards someone, arms wide open.
That's the energy we're going for. Uncrossed arms, relaxed hands, feet slightly apart, you're inviting people in. Anything that creates a barrier, even holding a purse tight in front of you, can subconsciously create distance.
There's this story about Carla at a party. She felt invisible, like nobody was talking to her. And then she consciously opens up her body language, uncrosses her arms, faces people directly, and people start to engage. Even letting her shoulder bag hang instead of clutching a handbag made a difference.
It's subtle but powerful. You're sending a nonverbal invitation.
So open up, literally. All right, last one for these crucial first moments. Hello, old friend. This is about greeting someone new with the same warmth you'd give a close friend.
Imagine that genuine joy you feel when you see someone you love. Your face lights up, you lean in, your eyes soften. It's about channeling that same energy towards someone you're just meeting.
They actually did this exercise in seminars. People introduce themselves normally, and then again, using this hello, old friend approach, The difference was incredible. More laughter, people standing closer, a real sense of connection.
You're basically radiating this sense of, hey, it's great to see you, even though you've never met before. It sets a positive tone right from the start.
So we've aced those first few moments. Now, how do we keep the conversation flowing, build a real connection? Let's talk about prosaic with passion. This one really made me rethink small talk.
It's the idea that your opening line isn't as crucial as you think. The book says that a huge chunk of the impression you make, something like 80%, is about your energy, your positive mood, how you deliver those words.
It's funny they use this example of someone saying anything except liverwurst when asked what kind of sandwich they want. The point is, as long as you're not being negative or rude, it's the how that matters.
And to make it even easier to connect, there's always wear a what's-it. Basically, wear or carry something interesting, something that sparks curiosity.
Think a unique piece of jewelry, a fun bag, anything that might make someone say, hey, that's cool. What is that?
It's like a built-in conversation starter, takes the pressure off both of you.
But what if the other person doesn't have any what's-its? That brings us to Never the Naked City. This is about how you answer that seemingly simple question. Where are you from?
The key is, don't just give a one-word answer. The author tells this story about how she just blurted out Columbus, Ohio, and it created this awkward silence.
She realized she gave the other person nothing to work with. And the funny thing is, she had a friend from Columbus who lived in this little town nearby with this really interesting name. The point is, give a little more detail, something to spark a conversation.
Like, instead of Chicago, say, Chicago, I live in the Lincoln Park area. There's this great little blues club there. See, now you've given them something to latch onto.
Right, you've opened the door. Now, when it comes to the dreaded and what do you do, Mark, the book has the nutshell resume. It's about going beyond just stating your job title.
It's about explaining the benefit of your work in a way that resonates. Instead of I'm a marketing manager, say, I help small businesses reach more customers. The book has great examples, like a cosmetic surgeon who says, I help people regain their confidence after accidents.
It makes you memorable. And even if the person you're talking to doesn't need your services, they might know someone who does.
Exactly. Now, when you're introducing people, try make introductions magnetic. Connect them on more than just their jobs.
Instead of John meet Sarah, Sarah meet John, try mentioning a shared interest. The book gives the example of introducing Gilbert as, Gilbert's a sculptor. He makes these incredible wax carvings. It's so much more interesting.
You're basically setting them up for a good conversation, okay? Want to really tune into a conversation, be a sleuth on their slips of the tongue. This is about paying attention to those little offhand remarks that reveal what someone's truly interested in.
There's this story about Nancy and Mrs. Otis. Nancy had completely misjudged Mrs. Otis, but then Mrs. Otis just made this casual comment about plants, and it turned out she was a passionate gardener. It was a total point of connection.
It's about listening for those little clues, those hints of what really excites someone.
Right, even if it seems insignificant at first. Now, once you've found a topic they love, try parroting.
This is super simple but effective. You just repeat a few key words the person used. There's this example with Phil, who was talking about seeing Sweeney Todd. The author kept saying things like, great show and bizarre story, and Phil just kept gushing about it.
It shows you're listening, that you're interested.
And it encourages them to keep talking about what they're passionate about. Now, to really liven things up in a group, tell them about the time you... This is a great way to prompt someone to share a story.
It's like at that captain's cocktail party. Instead of just introducing the ship's doctor, the author said something like, just last week, Dr. Rossi saved a seaman's eyesight in this dramatic midnight rescue. I bet everyone would love to hear about it.
It sets the stage, gives them a clear prompt.
Right, takes the pressure off them to come up with something on the spot.
And if someone tells a really good story, you can use encore to get them to tell it again to a different group.
It's basically saying, that was so good, my other friends have to hear it. People love telling their stories, especially if they're good ones.
Now, a word of caution, never the naked eye. This is about being careful what personal stuff you share early on.
Don't overshare those negative or super personal things right away. It can make people uncomfortable. Build a connection first.
Exactly. Deeper conversations can come later when there's trust. Okay, we've covered first impressions, keeping conversations going. Now let's talk about projecting credibility and intelligence, starting with limit the fidget.
This is about being aware of those little unconscious movements we all do, fidgeting, touching your face, bouncing your leg. They can make you seem nervous or unsure. The book even says some trial lawyers have people watching for these micro movements and potential witnesses.
Professionals work hard to eliminate these habits. You want to seem calm, in control.
Okay, next up, Hans's horse sense. This is based on that famous horse, Clever Hans, who supposedly could do math.
The horse that tapped out answers with his hoof.
Yeah, but it turns out Hans wasn't actually doing math. He was incredibly tuned in to the reactions of his audience. He'd stop tapping when he sensed they thought he'd reached the right answer.
So the lesson is, pay attention to your audience. Are they engaged? Confused? Adjust accordingly.
It's like reading the room, but on a deeper level.
Now for boosting your inner confidence, try watch the scene before you make the scene. This is all about visualization.
They use the example of a guy visualizing himself finishing a marathon. The idea is to mentally rehearse social situations before you're in them. Imagine yourself being confident, charming, witty.
It can really make a difference in how you feel when you're actually there. Okay, let's talk about some verbal techniques. First up, personal thesaurus.
This isn't about using big fancy words.
It's about swapping out those common, overused words for something more vivid and interesting. The book says that replacing just 50 words can make you sound smarter and more engaging.
It's like giving your vocabulary a makeover.
Another powerful tool is communication. This is all about using the word you to focus on the other person.
Frame things in terms of their needs, their interests. Instead of, this software is efficient, say, this software will save you a ton of time.
People are naturally drawn to things that benefit them. Okay, want to make your interactions more personal? Try the exclusive smile.
This is about being mindful of your smiles in group settings. Give each person a distinct smile and reserve a slightly bigger, warmer smile for the person you really want to connect with.
It makes them feel special, like you're genuinely happy to see them. Okay, let's talk about injecting some energy into your language. First up, accentuate the positive. Use vivid adjectives and adverbs, even for everyday things.
Instead of, it was a good presentation, say, it's an incredibly insightful presentation. Make it pop.
And to really paint a picture, try paint word pictures. Use similes and metaphors.
The book has this great example from a broadcaster who, instead of saying he was nervous, said he felt like an elephant dangling over a cliff with his tail tied to a daisy.
That's an image that sticks with you, and it makes you sound so much more creative and engaging. Finally, when it comes to language, call a spade a spade. Use clear, direct language. Don't beat around the bush.
Be straightforward. It shows confidence. Okay, even the smoothest talkers have awkward moments. Let's talk about handling those gracefully. First up, no teasing.
The book is pretty clear on this one. Just don't do it. Even if you mean it in a good way, it can easily be misinterpreted.
Humor is subjective. What you think is funny, someone else might find hurtful.
When you have to deliver news, especially bad news, remember it's the receiver's ball.
Think about their feelings, their perspective. Tailor your delivery to them.
And if someone's asking a lot of questions you don't want to answer, use the broken record.
Just keep repeating the same concise answer. Don't get drawn into explaining or justifying yourself.
When you're thanking someone, try never the naked thank you.
Instead of just thank you, say something like, thank you for being so patient, or thank you for that amazing advice.
It shows you're really paying attention. Okay, what about when someone else messes up? See no bloopers, hear no bloopers.
Just ignore it. We all have those moments.
No need to make them feel embarrassed.
And on that note, put a stake in gossip.
Gossiping just makes you look bad. People will wonder what you say about them behind their backs.
It erodes trust. Okay, if you're the one who messed up, try my goof, your gain.
This is about turning your mistake into a positive for the other person.
Go above and beyond to make things right. It can actually strengthen the relationship. Okay, let's talk about navigating social hierarchies, especially those VIPs. Instead of, what do you do? Oh, try asking, how do you spend most of your time?
It's a more gracious way to learn about their work and passions.
It shows you're interested in them as a person. And speaking of showing respect, salute the spouse.
Be friendly and respectful to spouses, assistants, anyone close to that VIP.
They can be your biggest allies. Okay, leaving a voicemail, think of it as your 10-second audition.
Make a good impression. Be clear, concise, and maybe even a little charming.
And to get past those gatekeepers, try the ho-hum caper.
Instead of asking for the VIP by name, just say, is he in? Or is she available?
It might make them think you already know the person. Now, the book talks about how even successful people can feel like nobodies in certain settings. These techniques are about making yourself a somebody.
One technique is leave an escape hatch. If you think someone's fibbing, just let it go.
Unless it's a big deal, it's usually better to just move on.
And when someone's speaking publicly, always support the podium ponderer, even if you don't agree with them.
Everyone gets nervous when they're up there. Show some support.
Okay, last section. Building those long-lasting relationships. One technique is business card dossier.
After you get someone's card, jot down some notes about your conversation, a shared interest, a detail about their family, anything that helps you remember them.
It shows you were really listening.
And speaking of remembering details, there's eyeball selling. This is about remembering those little personal things about people.
Even VIPs appreciate it when you remember something specific about them, beyond their job or accomplishments.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into how to talk to anyone, we've covered a lot. From those crucial first impressions to building lasting connections.
By using these techniques, you can become a master communicator.
So think about which of these resonated with you. Which ones can you try out? Even small changes can make a big difference in your relationships, both personally and professionally. As they say, communication is key, and that's something worth thinking about.